This story takes place in the dimly lit halls of St. Mary's High School, where whispers of an old legend echoed among the students. They talked about the basement ghost, a haunting creature rumored to lurk in the depths of the school basement. Many dared each other to venture into its depths, but only a few were brave enough to do so. One fateful night, a group of brave teenagers decided to explore the forbidden territory. The expedition was led by Jack, known for his fearlessness. Among them was Sarah, smart and skeptical, Mike, a cowardly guy, and Emily, a quiet but curious girl. When they gathered near the stairs leading to the basement, a heated argument broke out among them.
"I will not go down there under any circumstances," Mike exclaimed, stubbornly crossing his arms over his chest.
"Come on, Mike, don't be such a chicken," Jack retorted, rolling his eyes.
"Who knows what might be hiding there?"
Mike objected, with concern in his voice. Sarah chimed in, her brow furrowed in concern. "He's right, Jack. Maybe we should rethink this." But this didn't scare Jack. His thirst for adventure overcame all caution. "Okay, whatever. I'll go down alone if I have to." With that, he walked down the creaking stairs into the darkness below, his friends reluctantly following. The air became colder with every step, sending a chill down their spines. When they reached the foot of the stairs, an eerie silence enveloped them, broken only by the faint sound of dripping water. Jack led the way, his flashlight cutting through the shadows like a beacon of hope. Suddenly, the silence was broken by a heart-breaking scream echoing from the cold, damp walls. Sarah's heart was pounding as she grabbed Jack's hand tightly, her eyes wide with fear. "What was that?" Emily uttered, her voice barely louder than a whisper. Before anyone could respond, a dark figure materialized in front of them, its ghostly form illuminated by the dim glow of Jack's flashlight. They were frozen in horror as he flew toward them, his empty eyes fixed on their trembling bodies. Suddenly, the figure let out a blood-curdling scream, sending them running toward the safety of the stairwell. They rushed up the stairs, their hearts pounding in their chests, desperately trying to escape the clutches of the basement phantom. Once out of the basement, they collapsed against a wall, gasping for breath. Their minds reeled from the terrifying encounter they had just experienced. "You guys, where's Mike?" said Emily, horrified to discover that their friend was missing. "I remember he was running after me. I think Mike was last," Sarah said quickly. "Mike is there alone! We need to go back to the basement!" Emily shrieked loudly. Jack grabbed Emily by the shoulders, his expression serious. "We cannot allow anyone to go down there now. It's too dangerous. Let's wait until morning." "We have to warn everyone about that phantom in the basement," Sarah said, her voice trembling. The next day, the teenagers returned to school, their hearts heavy with worry for their missing friend. They spread the word about Mike's disappearance, calling on their classmates and teachers to help search the basement, but their cries for help were not heard. Everyone thought it was a stupid joke. Jack, Emily, and Sarah suspected the school principal, Mrs. Tyker, of conspiracy. She tried bringing the teenagers to their senses, saying that their story about Mike's disappearance was nonsense. Jack noticed how hurriedly she spoke, as if she wanted to close the topic as soon as possible. Days turned into weeks, and there was still no sign of Mike. In the quiet moments between classes, a ghostly voice could be heard in the hallways pleading for help. It seemed to emanate from the very walls of the school, a constant reminder of the friend they had lost. Despite their best efforts, they were not able to rally a search party to find him. But Jack, Sarah, and Emily couldn't shake the memory of that terrible night, haunted by the disappearance of their friend. They were determined to uncover the truth about the mysterious ghost and put an end to Mike's disappearance at any cost. Despite ridicule from their peers and reluctance from the school officials to investigate, the trio began their search for answers. They delved into the school's history, looking through old records and talking to former students and teachers who might know the dark secrets of the basement. Their investigation led them to a retired janitor named Philip, who had worked at the school for decades. He hesitated to share stories of strange happenings in the basement, stories of unexplained noises and sightings that school officials kept quiet about. Philip shared that it was in the basement that he completely lost his sight.
Everything happened very quickly. I heard the strange sound of fasteners in the basement. Went downstairs and suddenly saw a flash of light. Then I woke up in the hospital, and from that day on, I was completely blind,
Philip revealed in a monotonous voice. Before the three friends left, he gave them a book that he thought could help them. Sarah put it in her bag. The children thanked him and departed. Despite their terrible fear, Jack, Sarah, and Emily decided to return to the basement and confront the ghost once and for all. They descended into the darkness, their hearts pounding with morbid anticipation. As they explored the labyrinthine corridors of the basement, they encountered eerie manifestations of the supernatural, flickering lights, sudden temperature changes, and disembodied whispers that seemed to echo from the very walls. But they kept going, determined to uncover the truth. Finally, they reached the heart of the basement, a forgotten room hidden deep beneath the school. There, they made a shocking discovery that would change everything they knew about the ghost. With the help of their flashlights, they came across a secret passageway leading to a room full of old documents and artifacts. Among the dusty relics, they found a faded photograph that made them all shudder. It was a portrait of a boy who bore a striking resemblance to Mike. But what surprised them most was that standing next to him was their headmistress, Mrs. Tyker. With trembling hands, they pieced together the truth about the legend of the ghost in the basement. Decades ago, a tragic accident claimed the life of the school principal's son, Mike, whose spirit had been trapped underneath the grounds ever since. That's why Mrs. Tyker didn't help the investigation. It was her son who died many years ago. And to keep him close, she locked his spirit within the walls of the school. Filled with a newfound sense of purpose, Jack, Sarah, and Emily vowed to help free Mike's troubled spirit and bring peace to the haunted hallways of St. Mary's High School. Suddenly, there was a shaking and a strong wind that seemed to come from nowhere. Jack and Emily huddled together in fear, and Sarah remembered the book Philip had given her. The book opened from the force of the wind, and at that moment, Sarah realized that a spell was written on the page. The teenagers stood in a circle around the book, holding hands. They loudly repeated the words from the book as the wind became stronger and stronger. Just when it seemed that the children were doomed to die, in an instant, everything stopped. Standing together in the dimly lit room, they felt a sudden rush of warmth and light envelop them, dispelling the darkness that had haunted the school for so long. Suddenly, they heard a familiar voice. They ran toward it and, to their incredible happiness, found Mike lying on the floor, exhausted. The children pulled him out of the basement as quickly as possible and called his parents. At that moment, the children realized that they had finally put the ghost of the basement to rest. From that day on, the legend of the ghost in the basement became nothing more than a distant memory, a cautionary tale passed down from generation to generation. But for Jack, Sarah, Emily, and Mike, it will always be a reminder of the worst day of their lives.